guilds in MMORPGs suck. Now, I don't know how many of you are MMORPG players, but this isn't really going to be about a specific one. I mostly have played World of Warcraft in my past, so that's the one I have most exposure to, but suffice to say, pretty sure that most guilds in most games operate relatively similarly. They're supposed to be kind of a community where you're getting together with usually strangers, sometimes friends, and you go off and do raids and you pool resources to do crafting and all that kind of stuff. The problem is that, unlike the glory days of MMORPGs in general, the way that MMOs operate now has changed dramatically. It used to be that things like Facebook and instant messaging and texting and smartphones, those weren't really a thing yet. So the MMO was your chat room. So the guild would also double as, okay, here's a chat room of a bunch of people that we're going to do these things together, and there's not a lot of other ways for us to actually coordinate with each other. So this is what you had. So guilds were kind of a big deal. And depending on the game that you're talking about, so like World of Warcraft during Cataclysm had a lot of guild perks. Things like you get bonus gold that just gets deposited directly into the guild bank whenever you collect anything. You get a mass res that allows you to resurrect your entire party with the click of a button, no matter what class you are. Whole bunch of stuff that was really, really nice. They then scaled that back because they realized we're effectively punishing people for not being in a guild because these benefits are just too good. I still think that that's really a dumb excuse, because the fact is that you can make a guild, kick everybody else out of it, and just have your own guild. And there's no reason to not do that if you really don't want to be around people. Also, if you don't really want to be around people, there's the argument to be made about, why are you playing an MMO? But whatever. So, all that to say, nowadays, guilds are basically a place that you sign up. Sometimes there'll be things like, okay, we're going to do a raid or whatever, but for the most part, they're basically pointless because you can join up with raids anyway. So here's my ideas on how to improve MMORPG guilds by just adding a guild hall. So this would be a instance location in any primary capital city for each faction. So for World of Warcraft, that would be Stormwind and Orgrimmar. You just have a building that has, a portal in front of it, just like any dungeon, that when you go inside, the contents change based on your own guild. And you need it to be instanced like that so you don't have, 300 people all standing around that you have no idea who they are. They should all be from the same guild in the same building. Maybe you have some visitation type stuff where it's like, oh, I'm visiting this guild so I can, check out the neat stuff that they have. But primarily as a place for only guild members to hang out. So have a unlock system where you can unlock multiple rooms, multiple types of rooms. So first off, and here's the biggest idea, have a display room. Have a place that they already have, depending on the game that you're talking about, they already have a achievement system where it's like, your guild killed such and such boss. And that's great. And sometimes they come with a little reward, here's a little pet, or here's an appearance that you can apply to an item or whatever, or maybe a toy. So why not make a display room which actually puts together large displays of, hey, you killed Deathwing. Here's a memorial of the defeat of Deathwing, and even have a placard there that tells you, oh yeah, here's the guild members that actually participated in that raid. And then when you have new people showing up or whatever, they can walk through and they can check out these things. And because they checked it out, then they can get the same, the achievement unlock or whatever. But you actually have to go visit it and interact with the guild in order to do so. Might even encourage people to actually check it out for themselves and maybe join up with the next raid. Another good room to have would be a crafting room. Just have all of the anvils and tanning racks and whatever else that you need in order to do all of the professions. Have a guild bank and regular bank access right there. Just be really, really convenient as just a, as a perk for being in a guild. Convenience. Convenience is a big deal. Also have an expedition room of some kind. Have it be something that has some kind of daily quest hub with guild rewards of gold materials, etc. So do things like you accepted this quest, go out and collect 10 MacGuffins, and for doing that, here's a kickback for you, but also your guild gets a kickback of, gold, materials, whatever. Doesn't matter that much. Main thing is you're actually having to do something to help out your guild. Maybe also do, and I think Dragonflight is actually doing something similar where you can post requests for crafting, and somebody who has the appropriate crafting can come in and fill that request using the materials that you provide, and they'll craft the item for you. Do that with a guild. Have it that, okay, we've got the achievement for mastering blacksmithing. Here are the people in the guild that have mastered blacksmithing. Send it to them. Also, include an arena room. Set up that, all the guildies can fight each other, but also set it up so that you'd want to tweak it based on what kind of content you want available at any given time and how convenient you want things to be, but having a safe space to be able to practice a raid fight. So you don't have to go through the entire raid in order to practice for a fight. Just be like, all right, clearing the trash is a pain in the butt, takes a long time, and we want to not have to deal with that, but we've wiped against this particular boss 9 times now. Let's just go to the arena room, practice fighting, Arthas a few times till we get, figure out the mechanics and how all that works. Then we can go do it for real. Or, just some raid fights are just really fun. Go ahead. Maybe have it that you have to actually beat the boss first as a raid, and then you can load them into the practice room. But, that's not that big of a deal. So what do you all think? I think that guilds really need a facelift in some way or shape or form. I think that the community aspect of MMORPGs is just severely lacking these days, and they really need a kick in the pants to be able to put them over the edge. And it doesn't have to be, massively game-changing perks that they get. Fact is, especially in World of Warcraft, the transmog, or being able to cosmetically change how your character looks, basically playing dress up, that's a big community in the game. So providing some kind of setup that actually puts your achievements on display in some way, instead of just, oh look, my shoulders glow now. I think that would be really cool, and at least it would add some artificial longevity to the game. Plus, it would also incentivize actually going back and playing all the legacy content that nobody bothers to play these days unless it's a time-walking event or something like that, or they really want that appearance. Because not only do you get that appearance, but the entire guild now gets a display saying, hey, we defeated Deathwing. Yeah, it wasn't really actually during the Cataclysm or whatever. Get around the issue of a later expansion came out, so now we're going to ignore all the previous content. Especially for a game as old as WoW, there's a lot of content there that just nobody plays anymore, because why would you? So yeah, that's my thoughts on how to improve MMORPGs in general. Just add a guild hall. Add a guild hall, create a incentive for community beyond just the community itself, because fact is most people are antisocial these days anyway. If you have any suggestions about rooms or features that you would love to see added to a guild hall, let me know, and I would love to see this actually come true someday. Don't worry, I don't need credit, it's fine. Thanks all. Talk to you in the next one.